So now with our conditional statement inside of our click event, what we're going to do first is work inside of the if statement, which is true if the current navigation is less than 5, which means we know that the navigation is closed. What we first need to do is determine how high we need to open the navigation, and this is going to be determined by how many navigation elements are in the unordered list. So the first thing we'll do is declare another variable inside of this if statement. So var space new nav height. We're going to set this equal to, then $, parentheses, add our string. We're going to search for nav. Then we're going to use a greater than sign, and then we'll type UL. So what we're looking for here is the top level unordered list items inside the navigation. So if the unordered list is not the direct descendant of navigation, we're not going to get its height. So this way we will get the top level UL only and not all of the ULs that are inside the nav. Then outside of the parentheses, dot height, add in our parentheses, then a space. Then we're going to add an extra 15 pixels just so that the menu opens up and gives us a little bit of padding between the menu area and the last navigation link. So we'll add 15 extra pixels. So space plus space 15, then a semicolon. So if the unordered list inside the nav element happens to be 200 pixels, the new nav height variable will be 215 pixels. And now inside of the if statement, let's hit a return, and now we're going to use jQuery to animate the height of the navigation element. So we'll start with a $, parentheses, add in our string. We'll type nav. Outside of the parentheses, dot animate, another jQuery built-in function. Put in our parentheses and a semicolon. Now inside of the parentheses for animate, we're going to add a beginning and ending curly bracket. Inside of the curly brackets, another string. We're going to define the property that we're going to animate. So this is going to be the height. Now outside of the string, but still inside of the curly brackets, let's add a colon, and then we're going to add the new nav height. So let's come up here and copy that variable name. Let's paste it down here. Then we're going to add a plus sign, another string, and end in px. Now to animate the height property, we need to set the value of the height in CSS terms. So we have to have the number plus px, just like we would do in CSS. And then we'll get the cursor outside of the curly brackets, but still inside of the parentheses for animate. We'll type a comma, and then we're going to set the duration of the animation. So we'll set this to 750 milliseconds, which will be 3/4 of a second. So now inside of the if statement, we'll figure out the new height and we'll animate the navigation. So now we'll get our cursor inside of the else statement and we'll animate the height of the navigation back to 0. So $, parentheses, tick marks, add in nav, dot animate, put in our parentheses and a semicolon. Inside of the parentheses, beginning and ending curly bracket, another string, type in height, outside of the string but still inside of the curly brackets, add a colon, another string, and inside here we'll type 0px. Then outside of the curly brackets but still inside of the parentheses, comma, and then we'll add 750 milliseconds for the timing on this animation as well. And now with this in place, we're ready to go test this in a browser. So back to the browser, let's hit reload. Let's come up to the mobile menu. Let's click on this. We'll see the navigation animate open. And if we scroll down, we can see all of the content is animating down as well. And then if I click on the mobile menu again, then the navigation element will animate back to 0. Now one remaining detail that we'll need to fix is that we need to remove the style element from the navigation. If I close up the navigation and then open the browser up, we'll see that the navigation is now still being set to 0. Now if I were to come into the browser and inspect the element or look at the document's object model, we can see here that the navigation has a style element set to 0. This style element here, which is CSS placed on an individual HTML element, overrides our base CSS. So even though we open the browser up and we're looking at a different set of CSS rules, the height setting here is still overriding our CSS. And similarly, if I close the browser down and then we open the navigation menu up and then extend the browser back out, we'll also see that the height of the navigation is now stuck in its open state. So what we need to do next is use a callback function and a resize function to reset the navigation if we switch between screen sizes.